Shalom and welcome to Purim Seuda. This show is entitled, This Friday Morning Purim, when should I eat my meal? That is the question. On the one hand, you have the mitzvah of the Seuda of Purim. On the other hand, you don't want to go ahead and lose your whole appetite. The Shabbat meal. Every Friday, you're not supposed to have a big meal you don't normally have. And even a regular meal, it's best not to have in the afternoon. You want to have a nice appetite. So the Ramah says clearly, it's best to have it in the morning before Chatzot. A lot of it before Chatzot, just start before Chatzot. So then you have it, you finish it. You start 11:30 yourself, finish 12, 1, 2, and then you have a whole afternoon to relax and have an appetite for the night meal. Then there are those that say that if you can't do that, at least try to have an early afternoon and still a little bit of a buffer zone. And your first meal that you have is clearly a Purim Seuda, and then you have Al Nisim, a few hours later, go into Shabbat. Then you have the famous Shaila of you started later in the afternoon, you go right into Shabbat, called Purim Seuda, where you go ahead and in the middle of the meal, when it's Shabbat or close to Shabbat, anytime from Plag Mincha on, you Mekadesh, you do Kiddush in the middle of the meal. And now you turn it into a Shabbos meal. I think it's Kiddush a little confusing because you had wine during the meal, so you don't need a new boy pregafin. You had a motzi during the meal, so ostensibly you don't need a motzi either. Not everyone agrees on that, but because it's a suffix, we don't say boy pregafin, say Kiddush boy pregafin, and then we break bread over two breads, but we don't say hamotzi. It's a bit of a different kind of situation. And then we go into the night with the meal. It's a question, do you say al hanisim or not? So we would say, we'll leave out al hanisim. Some folks can say, because of the shailas of hamotzi, al hanisim, you're supposed to avoid this. But there are those who do it. And then Rav Yoshi says, what if you start your meal so late? It's already after Plag when you start. So right when you start the meal, it becomes a double meal. You can make Kiddush, so it's ready Shabbat meal, and Purim, you add in special foods for Purim as well. So from the beginning, it becomes a Purim/Shabbat Seuda. So you have those different options to start before Chatzot or early in the afternoon. Then you have the Purim Seuda, where you have Kiddush in the middle of the meal, and then you have where you start the meal with Kiddush, different options. Many say it's best to go ahead and do it early in the day, ideally before Chatzot or early in the afternoon, to avoid a lot of confusion. But there are those who do have the minhag of Purim Seuda Mekadesh. They start in the afternoon and they do it that way, so that way they can have all the Purim festivities in the morning, giving out the Mishlach Manos, taking the kids around, having a good time with the kids, and not pressuring themselves. So I got to finish all the Mishlach Manos and taking the kids around by 11:40, and it's just going to be a pressure. Usually we do it by 1, 2, 3, so also we're going to do that this year as well. And each one should talk to their posik about what's realistic for their family situation, what's best to do. Shalom.